Okay, I have parts cut up for what I'm going to call the hook plates to go in underneath the saddle plate, and I cut them out of some stock that I had bought for the plates, because I bought 4 feet of it, so I know I'll use it over on projects. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and start on those. One side I'm just going to take a skim cut that rides underneath, and then mill it to the width, and then excuse me. Then I'll set up and we'll start drilling holes, mounting hole or holes, assembly holes to assemble them together. So, well, let's get at her. Got a frog in my throat, can't get rid of it. Alright, so here's the part fresh off the saw, and it's cold roll steel. Got a little bit of rust on it, but nothing spectacular. Knock some of that off. I think the saw cut it pretty square, so we're going to check that. Either that or I can put them in. Well, maybe I'll do that. That way I know for sure. I'll put them in and just mill the edge with that 3-fluter end mill that I got in there. Now I've got the hiccups. I haven't even been laughing even. Then I'm going to switch parallels. Go to a little shorter parallel. My 2 favorite sets of parallels that I have are quarter inch thick, and these I made long ago. Never had a mark in them. Left them out one night when I went home, and the next day when I come in, my co-worker had took it upon himself to borrow them and put nicks in them. He did that to me a couple times. He did that to my parallels and did that to my knees. I have some little knees that he took over on the drill press, and I spent a lot of time grinding. I let them age. I let them age before I ground them up and everything. And he took it upon himself to use it as a drill press over on a drill press. Well, guess what? Put nicks and gouges in them. Yeah, he was a wiener, as I say, a winner, a wiener. Yeah, don't miss that guy. I miss a lot of the other guys that I worked with. And, I worked with a lot of good guys, a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people out there, and there was a few good bosses. Not many of them, though. Most of them were. But I was lucky to have a really good boss at first, and then he left, went to a different department, and I guess I don't have much good to say about my second boss, or the boss that took his place. Was kind of he liked having his, let's say, know how to say this, but he liked to have his rear end kissed a lot. So, and I refused to do it. So, we didn't get along very well. But that's the way it goes. I only had to put up with him for what, 4 years? 4 or 5 years, and I retired. That was one of the main things that pushed me to retirement. I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did. Here we go. I'm just going to touch off and take a light cut. And I'm going to take another can. Taking about 15 thou now off of that edge, and I'm climb cutting. 3/8, 3 flute. That didn't clean up. Didn't clean up all the way. I'm gonna take another can. Still didn't clean up. Another can. Hope I ain't going undersized here. There we go. Should get you over on the right hand side and zoom in. You can watch the chips fly. Now, one of them has to be 3/4 and the other one 7/8, I believe. Yep, 3/4 and 7/8. Which one am I working on here? I'm working on the 7/8 one. 7/8. So we are at, right now, this one here is at, oh my glasses. No wonder I'm squinting to see. I'll be so glad when I get my other glasses, I still have to take them off and put my safety glasses on. Otherwise, everything up close. I got 20/20 vision. I have 20/20 vision up close. But at a distance of, say, 10 feet, 15 feet, then my vision drops off and I need prescription. So if I come out in the shop, I forget to switch to my safety glasses, and I'm trying to squint and move my head around, trying to focus on something. And all right, so let's switch, put this one over here, and we'll take this one and clean it up. Now this one will be taking quite a bit more. I'm going to put you over on the other side. I'm going to have to turn the camera off. I got you plugged in, and I'm going to unplug it and then move you over to the other side. Alright, I moved you to the other side here. So now you'll be able to see, I hope. I hope anyway. I'll move you down. I want you to focus on that right there. All right, here we go. Move my calipers out of here. Chips all over them. It's got a really nice finish. But then again, when you're climb cutting, it pushes the cutter away, and then you come back. Conventional cutting, it's like taking a finish cut. All right, so we are at, well, I got to take a light cut on the other side and then see where we're at. And I'm going to move it over 20 thou. This isn't, quite honestly, this isn't real critical. Again, trying to get the light over here, just maybe see a little bit better. The light ain't in the way, okay. Because it's hooking underneath, that's the plate, and then it's hooking underneath the carriage plate, so if it goes a little bit further underneath, it doesn't really matter. Let's see what we got. We got about 100 thou to go. I don't know if I'll get there. I might have to move my stop. I don't know how much room I've got here. Well, let me see. I don't know. It's going to be close. Nope. So that means I gotta move my stop over a little bit and then come back in and touch, figure out where we're at. Alright, so we'll move that over to one at about there. Look from Allen Rich. I know I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. If you don't have a set of these stops, I would suggest making a set. They're very simple to make. They're just like a little horseshoe that fits over the back jaw, and then 2 screws pinch it to the back jaw. They're very I think this is probably one of the first tools that I made at work for myself. And I made several styles, some with a little longer leg, some with a short leg, some to fit an 8-inch vise, some to fit a 6-inch vise. Alright, so now go up against that. Now I'll have to crank over and pick that edge up again. I could have put a feeler gauge in there and went through setting my readout and everything. Just like that. Zero my readout out. Put it across there. now where are we at? We are at 95 thou. 95 thou to go. And my parallel got pushed back. All right, 95. We're gonna crank over 95. 60, 70, 80, 90, 95. All right, here we go. I'm going to. This isn't carbide, so it can benefit from a little lube. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a lube on that, almost like honey. Can't remember what the name of it is. That stuff is. I have a 5-gallon bucket full of it. They were going to throw it out because they weren't no longer using it at work, and one of the maintenance guys come and asked me if I wanted it. I said, sure, set it in the back of my pickup. So he set it in the back of my pickup. I got it. I probably used maybe a quarter of a gallon in, 4 years, 5 years? I think it'll last. Now we're just taking it cool and riding that brake just a little bit. That should do her, I think. Oh, let's see. Well, we're about 5 thou from it. From the 5 thou from the nominal mark. And that's going to be just swell enough for me. 9 degrees above outside today. Right now, sun shining. It was 17 when got up. It's dropped to 9 now. It actually warmed up last night. First time in a couple weeks. So been below 0 for a couple weeks, and hasn't gotten above 0. It's been cool. I always say that it's cold keeps riffraff out. Nobody wants to spend their winters here. It ain't that bad though. I was born in North Dakota, grew up in North Dakota, so I'm used to the weather. I have people say, how can you stand that? Well, if you're used to it, you don't know any better. No, my sister moved to Kansas, and she goes, I'll never come back up there to live. It's just too nice down here. Well, I says, yeah, you can have your tornado alley. I'll take that little bit of snow. But yep, same thing here. All right, so these 2 are done, and the other ones go to 3/4 inch. So I'm going to take one of the other ones here, knock off some of the rust. It's actually pretty nice material. It's just got underneath the rust, the little bit of a layer of and it's not heavy rust. It's just lightly rusted, but it's actually a pretty nice material. I'll go back and buy some more. So that might clean up right where it's at. Tighten that up. That 3/4 or 3/8 regrind that I sharpen is cutting pretty nice. I should set up my grinding and tool grinding and do a little video on that. What I should do is go to my old setup, which is very simple. It's done on the mill, and I know there'll be people out there saying, well, you can't grind on the mill. Well, yeah, you can. Just got to cover up the ways and make sure that everything is covered up so you don't get any grit in there. But I have a setup that mounts on the ram and uses the x-axis, and it works. It actually works really well for grinding end mills. But you know, I went and made my setup for grinding, and it's a portable setup that I can take over to my bench and grind a few end mills and then unplug her and put it away. I don't know how many dull. I'm trying to remember how many dull end mills I got around here, because I don't want to set it up unless I got a few to do. But I noticed that there is interest on that on my channel, so I don't know if it's been focusing on that or not. I have trouble with that camera. It's, you know, I'll buy it's a EOS Rebel SL3 camera, and I've got right now the lens that I have on there is the lens that it came with. But my wife has all kinds of lenses that I can put on here, and they're just, I don't know, the focus just seems like if I put my hand up here, it'll focus on that for a while, then when you go away, then it won't focus on what you want it to focus on. I don't know. I'm not that camera smart, so I don't know. I know I've been reading in it, and it said to set the AV, which is the depth of focus. So I went and tried to do that. I don't know if I did it right. Okay, now we know we were at 875. We want to go to 750. So, got 125 thou to take off of there. And again, I'm going to have to move my stop. Darn it, I thought I moved it far enough, but I don't think I did. Let's go. Zero this out and go 50. There's 50. Yeah, she's getting close to the jaw. 50 cut. Make sure it's right. Yep. So let's move that out. Move the stop again. Looking for my Allen wrench. All right. Oops, I don't want to go that far. Right there. We'll go right there. I don't want to run the risk of flipping it up. You know, turning the part up when I'm milling. Right. Now we'll have to tuck off and get where we're at again. Then we'll move over. Zero my readout before I forget. All right, we're going to go to 750. We're at 815. So we got 65 thou to take off. No problem, we can do that. Move her over 65. There we go. Notice I haven't been leaving anything for finish cut because I'm climb cutting. And a lot of times you climb cutting you don't need to do that, especially if you're going to go back. Here's my finish craft right here, which is going to be taking 2 to 3 thou off here. Depending on the speed that you go, that depends on the speed you go across and how much pressure you put on your tool. Oh, let's see what we got here. Oh, look at that, 753. But good enough. Alright, we'll put this one in here and we'll take her all on one crack. This stuff stinks when you use it though. Now, I want to take a light cut on one of the sides yet. Oops. So I want to take a light cut on the sides. That way I know that it's going to run, it's going to be flat and locate clear across it. Especially when we're loading and we want to load on that on spacer material that goes in between. I don't need a stop, so I'll take the stop off. Oh, seeing right where it went. I don't know. Is this magnetic? That's not magnetic, but this Allen wrench. See how it's picking up the chips? It's magnetic. I have a tip for you. If you have any small motors, I'm going to move you just for a second. I have it sitting on the bench over here all the time for my drills and stuff. All right, let me back you up again. And what I have here, move you out. What I have here, this was an old motor. It's this one here was a pump for my pond outside. So what you do is you take it and you take the guts out and the windings that go around that in the center. You see how that Allen wrench stuck. I plugged it in now, and you just run your drill bit or your Allen wrench or whatever through the middle of that a couple times. It just goes all the way through. It's just a winding. Now it's not going to pick up anything. It demagnetizes it real quick, and so if you have like a drill, this is a big half-inch drill. Just run it through there. Demagnetizes it. Instead of throwing the pump away, if you got an old axis of an old motor, any kind of motor is going to have windings around the center core, and just save it and use that center core because you got 60 cycles there of the current going, flip-flopping or whatever. I don't know how to explain it. All I know is it works really well. So if you have an old pump or an old motor that's going bad, and don't throw it away. Here, let's see if I can get another little bit and show you. So here's an old fan. And here's the windings. It goes around the core. This one you would have to be a little careful. You'd have to tape it up or whatever. But that hole going through where the armature goes through, take the armature out of there. Now you can run your tool bits through there. You could run tools through there, and it would demagnetize them right away. No horsing around. So any little motor, like if a bearing goes out or something and it still hums or whatever, if the windings are still good and just the armature went bad or bearings went bad, save it and make yourself a demagnetizer. I know I did that quite a while back, and I like it. It works nice. All right, I'm going to move over. take a look at my take a look at my reground end mill. Can't even tell I used it to cut anything with. It's a good end mill. Alright, so I think I'm going to use my larger fly cutter here. It's a inch and a half. It fits in the 3/4 inch. Got 3/4 inch shank. Stick that in there. Tighten her up. And come over. Don't touch. And I actually shouldn't do that. You can actually run the risk of messing up your insert. And I did get a comment about it hammering. Yeah, I know I was kind of screwed up there. But you want to try to stay over so that when it comes in, when this cutter comes in, it's taking a light cut here, and it gets heavier as it goes. And when it exits, it's a heavier cut when it's exiting. And that way you don't get as much hammering. But I'm so used to trying to climb cut everything, and that's what I was kind of doing. And when you do that, now you're over on this side, and you're hammering when you go in, and the cut gets lighter as it comes out. So I don't know if it makes sense to you or not, but hopefully it does. Right away when I got that comment, I knew that, yeah, I screwed up. So, anyway, and 78 years in machine work, that's a long time, man. I thought it was long. I got 45 years in the industry. You know, I started in the machine shop, or started in the machine shop. I worked 4 years or 5 years in the machine shop, and then I read everything I could read on machining, and I took some classes. I took metrology, or not metrology, metallurgy class on metals, heat treating, and everything that's happening when you're heat treating, and anyway, then I got bumped into tool fab, and I was in the tool fab area for must be about 25 years or so. And then I got bumped into design, the tool design area. But in between the tool design and fab, I was in a programming area for about a year and a half, NC programming, and then I went to tool design, and I loved it. Like I said, I wouldn't have quit my job or retired if it wouldn't have been for, I had a coworker that was